Hello everyone, I'm Jack Fisher and welcome to my world. And after months of hints, teases, speculation, and theories, the emergence of a new Ultimate Universe is no longer brewing. It's here. The events of Ultimate Invasion have concluded, and the plots and machinations of the Maker have been foiled. Now, Ultimate Universe number 1, also written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Stefano Caselli, is here to build upon the foundation for Marvel Universe 6160. And on a personal note, this is an issue I've had my eye on since it was first announced. I would go so far as to say it's one of the single comics I was most excited about in 2023. I still haven't forgotten how much I advocated for a new Ultimate Universe back in 2022, and while it's unfolding in a way I never could have imagined, I am very excited to see where it leads. This one-shot issue promises to be the first step in that process. It's meant to act as an epilogue to Ultimate Invasion and a prologue to the subsequent Ultimate titles set to come out afterwards. And after what happened with the Maker, there's definitely a need for transition, but his actions have also ensured that there will be resistance to such a transition. Because even though the Maker is defeated, the world he helped create, or derailed depending on how you look at it, is a world without its mightiest heroes. During the events of Ultimate Invasion, we saw the Maker radically alter the course of this Marvel Universe, preventing a teenage Peter Parker from becoming Spider-Man, preventing Captain America from ever being unfrozen, and preventing the Fantastic Four from ever forming. All of this was intended by the Maker to ensure that there would be no heroes to oppose him as he molded this world to his whims. But now, in wake of his defeat, this world needs its heroes back, and that's exactly what Tony Stark sets out to do. Assisting him in this endeavor is this universe's Reed Richards, who is still walking around in the garb of Doctor Doom. We don't know much about the how or why, but he has already been instrumental in helping Tony pick up where his father left off after making the ultimate sacrifice. And the first step in that process is to start assembling the heroes that the Maker tried so hard to contain. This is what leads them to a very specific prison cell on Asgard containing Thor, who never even had a chance to impact the events of Midgard in this universe. Together, Iron Lad and Reed help break him out, but before he leaves, Thor makes it a point to retrieve his trademark hammer, which has been kept from him due to the Maker's machinations. To get to it, all Thor has to do is fight anyone in front of him, including Lady Sif. It doesn't make for a very long fight, it rarely is whenever someone is keeping Thor from his hammer. But when he retrieves it, it's still a very satisfying moment, and it offers us a beautiful bit of imagery to demonstrate that the heroes of this new Ultimate Universe are ready and eager to assemble. Having Thor on their side is certainly a good and necessary step, but it's just the first of many. Once Tony and Reed get Thor back to Earth, we see they still have Captain America on ice. He's still clearly alive and a necessary component of the Avengers, the Ultimates, or whatever they end up being called in this world. But in addition to putting these pieces into place, both Thor and Lady Sif learn more about just how much their lives have been manipulated to this point. Thor was never supposed to end up in that prison cell. Asgard was never supposed to be ruled by Loki and cut off from Midgard. These are not trivial changes, but they're far from the only change. Reed goes on to reveal that they've been combing through the Maker's files. They now know that he's been hiding various mechanisms and relics. We don't know what they are, we just know that they were vital in assuring that the heroes and figures so critical to any Marvel universe never became a factor here. And if they're going to ultimately fix this world, they need to uncover all the Maker's dirty secrets and undo what he did. That leads them back to Latveria, where most of the events of Ultimate Invasion unfolded. Reed, Tony, Thor, and Sif now find themselves in this chamber full of strange containers, each holding hundreds of critical, tangible elements that helped the Maker control how this universe played out. We don't know what they are, and sadly, we never get a chance to find out. Because before a single container is opened, Captain Britain sneaks in and attacks Thor. This is part of that resistance I mentioned earlier. The end of Ultimate Invasion made clear that the loss of the Maker hasn't completely destroyed the order that he helped set up. All the people and organizations that helped him dominate this world, they are not eager to give up their power. You don't really need to know the particulars of this order, but like many other stories crafted by Jonathan Hickman, there are some helpful graphics. They reveal that the Maker's Council, as they call themselves, are actively reorganizing the power structure throughout this world. They've reshuffled things around in North America. They've created these major pockets of influence in certain parts of the world, from Eurasia to South America to Africa to the Pacific. But they are not done shaking things up. So they can't have Tony, Thor, any Avengers of any kind getting in their way. And, God of Thunder or not, Captain Britain is still able to seriously wound Thor. This forces him, Reed, and Sif to get Thor back to Stark Tower for emergency treatment. But this ends up being a critical error on their part, because once Captain Britain gets away, he's able to inform the rest of the Makers Council, and they do not hesitate to take further action. They don't care that they're dealing with the son of Howard Stark, and they don't care that they're dealing with a couple of pissed-off Asgardians. They want to preserve their place in this world, even if it means destroying a small part of it. So in an act that perfectly demonstrates the Makers' influence, they authorize a massive blast from a satellite on Stark Tower, and they sell it as a terror attack to the public, one perpetrated by Tony Stark himself. Call it a conspiracy, a false flag operation, or an elaborate frame job, but it sends a hell of a message. The Makers' Council is not taking any chances. They do not want the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, or any other heroes in this world. And they are willing to sacrifice civilians, stoke civil unrest, and manipulate the media to preserve their place in this world. It's an explosive way to end this comic, but it also acts as a catalyst of sorts. Defeating the Maker was hard enough, but the order he created, the individuals, organizations, and figureheads he empowered, taking them down is going to take a hell of a lot more. In a sense, they are the natural counter to the major shifts unfolding in this universe. And if its mightiest heroes are determined to reemerge, then expect some equally mighty villains to emerge as well. The Makers' Council may not be Hydra, AIM, Orcus, or the Masters of Evil, but they make clear that they are an antagonistic force to be reckoned with. They are capable of wounding a god. They are willing to attack their own citizens, lie to them, and turn them against those trying to save their world. It sets a critical but unique tone for this new Ultimate Universe. There are already dangerous, villainous forces in place, and they're willing to do anything to secure their power in the long term. No matter what form the Avengers, Spider-Man, the X-Men, or the Fantastic Four may take, this is what they're up against. It promises to be a hell of a challenge, and it's set to play out in 3 new ongoing Ultimate titles that will build off of these explosive events. If the goal of Ultimate Universe #1 was meant to set a tone for what's to come, I'd say it definitely succeeded in that regard. And I am ready, hyped, and eager to see where it goes from here. But at the same time, I feel like this comic left too many unanswered questions. We never did find out what was in those containers, and we still don't know much about this 6160 version of Reed Richards or why he's wearing Doctor Doom's armor. We don't know a lot about what else has happened since the fall of the Maker, or how other major characters in this new Ultimate Universe have been affected by his actions. But even with all those uncertainties, I still really enjoyed Ultimate Universe #1. It has only further compounded my excitement about this new Ultimate Universe. It still has some major growing pains to endure before it can truly blossom, but we now know who's leading the charge, who's opposing them, and the stakes for everyone involved. This is very much a bold, new Marvel Universe, one already defined by unique and unusual circumstances. But the seeds are planted, the potential is beyond dispute, and only time will tell how it ultimately plays out. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for joining me in my world. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, take care and stay safe.